serious?
Hi there guys, welcome to the DJI channel. Thank you very much for tuning in for my review of this here package, or the content of this package, Runcam Link. This is Runcam's first official digital DJI camera setup. They have had their, what was it, the Runcam Racer version 4 I think, which was a bit of an under the counter DJI digital camera. This one, however, is developed in cooperation with DJI, and it also comes with a DJI Air unit, the Vista Air unit. So the content of this here package contains the camera and the Air unit. You can also order just the camera, and we'll have a look at both of these. So this separate camera would be, well, a spare, right, if you damage the main camera, or maybe as an upgrade to a Nebula, a Caddx Nebula 1 or 2. Not a Nebula Pro, but a Nebula. Maybe even an upgrade to the Polar, even though I think it would be, well, more or less the same specs. Yeah, maybe a side grade. Yeah, okay. Or maybe the Caddx Polar isn't available. Then this would also be an option. Okay, let's see what you get if you buy either package. And there you go. No real surprises here, really. It is very similar as what you get with the Caddx setups. An Air unit, and in case you didn't know, this Air unit isn't made by Caddx, so the previous Vistas you've seen, or Nebula Pros or Polars, this Air unit thing is always made by DJI, and that's the case in this Runcam setup as well. So on your right you have that Air unit connected with a 12 centimeter cable to, this is called a Phoenix HD. So we'll see what that means, what it performs like. But this is a 19mm camera, whereas for instance the original DJI digital camera is 20mm. Just so you know. So if you were to install this camera into a frame that's made for the DJI camera, you will need a shim, a ring. That doesn't come with a camera, by the way. Runcam, you should add some spacer thing so that people can easily install this camera into a frame. Also, I didn't get a mounting screws, mounting hardware, but that might be because this is a review unit. Both of these are review units. And so you do get a wire harness, basically also the same as with the other Air units. And you get an antenna with a UFL connector at the bottom over here. Obviously, right, this Air unit, this Vista Air unit has a UFL connector over here. Yeah, it is not the Cherry camera that comes with the Caddx setups. It is a, well, a Link. Link camera. Yeah, we'll see. I'm assuming it'll work just fine. And what more can I tell you? Yeah, you get a leaflet with the wiring diagram and specs, and well, specs. No, only a wiring diagram, which is all you really need. Okay, and on your left you see the camera only, which is 100% the same, but obviously it doesn't come with an Air unit, a transmitter, and it also comes with a 12 centimeter cable. One addition to that, this Phoenix HD camera has a couple of screws at the rear, 4 in all. You can obviously take those out and then replace the connector at the camera's end. So if you don't feel comfortable replacing the cable at this end of the Air unit, you can also replace it over here, or attach the existing cable in your quadcopter to the new camera. It is a little bit easier in my humble opinion, but yeah, this is also replacing the connector or the cable at this end is also doable. It's not a fun job, but it is doable. Also, maybe the Air unit, well, probably the Air unit is in your quadcopter. It might be easier to get to this connector. So again, couple of screws and you can get to the connector at the camera end. Just a side note. And what do you know, I already have the camera in this here quadcopter. In fact, I replaced the Runcam Racer version 4, the infamous, the notorious, not so successful Runcam Racer version 4, which was both an analog and a digital camera, if you know this camera. So when I say I already have it in this quadcopter, in fact I've had it in this quadcopter for a couple of weeks by now. So I've been testing this here camera. I did obviously put the old cable that was already in the quadcopter, connected that up to the new camera, right? Super duper easy, really super duper easy to do. Let me actually give you a very quick rundown of my findings with this Phoenix HD or the Runcam Link setup. Daytime, I like it better than the Caddx Polar cameras. So the colors looked a little more lifelike and the HDR looked a little more pleasing and easier actually to fly with. So again, daytime use, I liked this Phoenix HD from Runcam a little bit better, not miles, but a little bit better the Polar camera from Caddx. Nighttime flying, however, there's a bigger difference. At night or at dusk or dawn, the Polar camera does a lot better than this Runcam Phoenix HD. Yeah, this Runcam camera needs a higher ISO rate to still keep it flyable. I hope that makes sense. The footage at night looks grainier with this Runcam camera. I generally don't fly a lot at night, hardly ever. So for me, yeah, I actually like the Runcam a little bit better. It seemed a little bit faster as well, so lower lag. But that might be because this quadcopter is very responsive. Still, I very much liked flying with this Runcam Phoenix HD. Having said that, I'd rather see a Nebula Pro or the original DJI camera. Right, the latencies of those are lower and you get high quality mode, you get 4:3 mode, all those things you don't get with this Runcam camera. Just as with the Polar camera from Caddx. With the minor difference that this Runcam seemed a little bit faster. Okay, Dr. C, that's all very nice, but let's see some test footage. And here we go, a sunny day, which are few and far between in fall over here in the Netherlands. So yeah, I haven't been able to capture a lot of really sunny days, but this is reasonable. As you can see me here flying into the sun. This is particularly one of the ways this Runcam Phoenix HD is better than the Polar. Flying into the sun, you see more of what you need to see to avoid obstacles. Not a whole lot better or more detail, but it is better. Colors look more lifelike, and so yeah, this looks good. This is very much flyable. Enjoyable to fly as well. Again, I felt less lag with this camera, but also again, this quadcopter I'm flying here is very responsive, so that evens out things a little bit maybe. Still, you tell me what you think. I think this looks very enjoyable. There is a little bit of HDR effect. Right, things therefore not looking 100% realistic, but even that it's less the case than with the Caddx Polar. In certain circumstances, the Polar camera really makes things look non-realistic. This all, to me, looks pretty nice. So, again, very, very flyable. Let's do a little nighttime flying then. This is in the pitch black with artificial lights, as you can tell. And this parking lot is where I test all my night cameras or my low light cameras. This is also where I tested the Polar and the analog Foxeer Cat 3 camera. So this is flyable. This is very much flyable, definitely. But for instance, the lights, those floodlights, look more blown out with this camera. and the entire sky, everything is a little bit more grainy with this Runcam Phoenix HD at low light. I also flew the camera at even darker in even darker conditions, sorry. And that came close to unflyable, where the Caddx Polar would have been flyable, very much so. So this flight you see here was enjoyable. I know this space, right? I know this parking lot, so that makes it a little bit easier. But still, I can definitely see what I need to see. I can see those trees and, well, everything I need to see to avoid obstacles. Still, the picture quality, especially now you can see the grain, right? And again, things definitely didn't look this grainy with the Caddx Polar. It's not miles apart. It probably is. So again, this Runcam camera uses a higher gain to make things visible in low light. Whereas the Caddx camera, the Polar camera, did something else in their firmware to, again, make these kinds of conditions flyable, other than an enormous ISO rate. Maybe the shutter speed is longer with the Caddx camera, making the lag longer. Yeah, but okay, so you need to be asking yourself, will you be flying fast and hard and close to obstacles at night? If you are, you probably want the Runcam, because I suspect that the lag is lower. If you want to have a more pleasing picture at night, the Caddx camera definitely makes things look better in low light. So, but again, as you can tell, I can see what I need to see here. Alrighty guys, the Runcam Link with the Phoenix HD camera. Should you buy them? Are they worth their money? And I think that Runcam is very happy, not so much, that Nebula Pro and the original DJI cameras are available again now. I think Runcam thought, well, those very nice cameras aren't available, we're gonna put up a competitor to the Polar camera. This is of course because of the chip shortage, right? And so with that said, the Runcam Link setup is a lot cheaper than, for instance, a complete setup with the Nebula Pro or with the DJI FPV camera, the digital DJI camera. So that makes this an option. Also, it is a good option if, for instance, any of the other options aren't available. Maybe you are looking for a good or reasonable nighttime flying camera and the Polars aren't available, then this is also an option. Also, maybe you actually even have a quadcopter with this camera, the old Runcam, what is this, the 4 or 3? Well, the 4. The Runcam Racer 4 that doubles as a digital camera. If you, like me, have a quadcopter with that camera, this Phoenix HD camera, which again can be had separately, is an upgrade. I've had this camera for about a year, I think. I'm not completely sure, but I've flown it in all kinds of weather. Phoenix HD is better. You see more of what you need to see, especially if you are flying into the sun. That's something I always test, of course. Let me see. Yeah, and that's it. So again, daytime flying, small things that are better than the Polar camera, in my humble opinion, of course. Things look a little bit better. The lag seems a little bit lower. Nighttime flying, the Polar is definitely better. And especially if you can get this Runcam Link set up at a very nice price. And I think the price has already gone down. So if you can get them for instance, $120 with the air unit, the Vista air unit, then it's a steal. It definitely works. It's a good option. But if the price of this Runcam Link is in the neighborhood or comes close to, for instance, a setup with a Nebula Pro or the DJI camera, then those are definitely very much better. And that's it. I hope this review was helpful. If you are left with questions, hit me up a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you on the next video. Bye bye.